Hello and welcome to Not Every Sequel. I'm Joe.
And I'm Stephanie.
Okay, we got a major top tier recommendation for you. If you love 80s horror, please, as fast as possible after this video, go watch 1987's The Gate.
There is a passageway to the most evil place you can imagine. A gate behind which the demons wait to take back what was once theirs.
Or watch it right now and then come back because we're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about how this movie rules and everything about it rules, and it's awesome.
I have, not really heard of this movie. I think it's come up here or there, but, every time we think we are, scraping the bottom of the barrel of, horror movies we haven't seen, something like this will come up where we're like, holy cow, this is, a new favorite of mine.
We brought it up when we were talking about Demons.
Yeah.
That was 1985, and exactly like you said, we think we'd seen it all.
Yeah.
You think, oh, it's one decade. It's just the 80s.
Yeah.
I've had to have seen everything by now.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, boom, hidden gem or not so hidden gem. Maybe everyone's seen it but us, and we're the latecomers.
I think there's definitely a contingency of people who love this movie very much and saw it as a kid. I was not a horror watcher when I was a kid, and also I was probably 5 when this came out.
It does seem like a little kid focused, but that does not take away from some really, really strong, cool imagery that happens in this movie.
Yeah.
Now, let's get into it. It stars Stephen Dorff, actually.
Father.
Oh, no. Very young Stephen Dorff.
Very young. You might know him from Blade or Somewhere.
Which is the name of a movie, not just
Somewhere.
You might know him from somewhere.
Oh, right. Yeah. The Sofia Coppola movie, Somewhere. He plays this little kid, and he has a friend named Terry, who's the coolest motherfucker you could ever ask to be friends with.
How is Terry not just a classic, character that everyone knows about and talks about how he's the greatest? Terry's mom is dead. Terry's dad is neglectful. Terry listens to metal, and he wears glasses, too.
Does his mom being dead add to his cool factor?
No, it's part of his character because that's why he's into the metal and stuff. You know what I mean? He's sort of dark.
The forgotten gods ruled the darkness. But what was theirs now belongs to the world of light and substance.
The way they style him, he's got these nerdy glasses, kind of nerdy face and metal everything else.
And then down at the bottom, he's wearing some fresh Nike Air Force Ones.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot going on, but he rules.
And his dad, isn't really present for him. It doesn't seem he leaves him a note at one point I left for I don't know, he went on a work trip or something.
Just says I left.
Yeah.
So then he spends a lot of time at Stephen Dorff's house.
Yeah.
And Stephen Dorff has an older sister. And one of the things I really liked about this movie is that relationship. You know, she's not I don't want to hang out with you guys. You guys are lame. She's this cool older sister.
Well, there is a little bit of that, which is part of the sort of arc of the movie where she goes off with her friends a couple times,
to the
but then
mall.
her friends are really dumb and annoying.
Yeah, she comes back from the mall and he's like, oh, you spend all your money at the mall? And she's like, no, I actually got you something cool.
Got you a rocket.
Yeah, I got you a rocket.
Yeah.
And we're going to build it together and
with
hang
Terry,
out with
and
Terry.
It's going to be the best. Yeah. There's a something about some of the 80s horror family dynamics. The parents are present in this movie, but not quite as well done. Still really good.
They leave eventually.
They leave pretty early in the movie.
Their note says, I left.
I left also. But even though Poltergeist has the full family dynamic, not just the kids, it did remind me of Poltergeist, and these kids are just pretty normal. I feel now, especially in the post 2000s era, there's a genre of kid in a horror movie.
Yeah, kids in horror now seem very something terrible happened to them in their past life.
Yeah.
They're so dark, and it's the Babadook kid or the Cobweb kid. There's something going on internally. These are just they're regular kids. They're hanging out. They're having a good time. And then like some crazy stuff happens. And that crazy stuff is done with all sorts of really impressive practical effects.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, like, you know, going back into that, Terry has kind of the darkest backstory of all, but he's not just sitting there like, something's coming in my, you know, demons are coming and
Yeah, he unleashes this by accident because of reciting something from a metal record.
Yeah, and then he's like, all right, we got to figure this out. I'm going to go down in there. Like,
this movie kind of gets you pumped. And it did remind me of Poltergeist a bit, but like also just like a mix of like other things as well, maybe like a little bit of like fantasy thrown in there too. And by the end, some really, really impressive large scale creature design.
I think the practical effects in this movie and the creature design were what really blew me away, that I had no idea these existed. There's like those tiny, so the demons are like these little short guys, like terrifying looking, sort of gremlin-y little, I don't know how
they can also like become a big thing.
Right.
And then there's this amazing moment where it falls and then turns into a bunch of little ones. And, you know, obviously it's just a cut. Mm-hmm. But they just nail it. They do it so perfectly.
It's so good.
We were watching it with our friend Elliot, and like the second it hits the ground and turns into like 10 little ones, we were like, oh! Like, it was just really fun.
You got 3 seasoned horror fans. We've seen everything. We like so many things. We dislike so many things. It's so hard to surprise us. And there were so many times during this movie where we're just like, what? That? And then the whole time just like, Terry's so cool. Like, bring back Terry. There's like apparently a short or something like a short sequel. I can't remember if it's full length or...
There's a full sequel, The Gate 2, which I'm very excited to see, which stars Terry. Rest of the characters, who cares? Get them out of here.
You know, be in something else. Like we don't need you in this movie.
Yeah, we got Terry. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Anything else we need to cover about this movie?
I mean, I think there's so much, but like these are the things that really, really stuck out to us. I think the fantasy element is a big part of it, something you don't really see. I think, so this all kind of stems from like a hole in the ground. That's the gate. The hole in the ground is very cool when it opens up.
Yeah, that's really neat. The set is really cool when they're actually like, you know, someone's stuck in the hole and they're trying to get them out of the hole. The little creatures are down at the bottom of the hole. Really good direction by this guy that he's a Hungarian director. Kind of came out of nowhere with this one, and he's still working today. Mostly makes like Hallmark Christmas movies and like Redbox, like non-existent action movies that you're like, who gets that? But hey, he's still working. It's a living.
So, you know, we know you guys have all been holding out on us, that you've all seen this movie and you love it, and we're the last ones to the party. Please tell us in the comments your experience. Did you watch this as a kid? Have you watched it as an adult? Does it hold up for you? I think the practical effects for me are some of the best I've ever seen, up there with like Blob, the 80s Blob remake.
Yeah, totally.
Not quite the level of The Thing, but I think it's you know, it's reaching for it.
Yeah. I could see how this would be someone's like maybe an early horror movie that they saw as a kid, and it was like their favorite one and the thing that got them into horror. I'd love to hear stories like that. So comment below if you've seen and loved The Gate, and if you haven't, walk, do not run. Run, do not walk, and go rent that.
Run to YouTube to rent it, or
run
wherever.
to YouTube. All right, thanks for tuning in. If you like this kind of thing, talking about cool horror movies, then stick around, subscribe. That's all we do here. We're just talking about horror almost every day. So we'll see you tomorrow, I guess. Thanks for watching. I'm Joe.
And I'm Stephanie.
This is Not Every Sequel. Bye.
Bye.